Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Second Last Supper. In this episode, I have a very special guest with us. Her name is Surbhi Bagga. Surbhi Bagga is a stand-up comedian and she is also a YouTuber and a podcaster. Surbhi Bagga का एक podcast है जिसका नाम है The Overthink Tank. It's damn amazing. If you haven't checked it out, आपको ज़रूर देखना चाहिए. You should also check out her YouTube channel by the way, which is also pretty awesome. जिसके बारे में हमने बात भी की थी episode में. Interestingly, Surbhi is interested in a lot of ideas and things जिनमें मेरे को भी बहुत इंटरेस्ट है स्पेशली रिलेटेड टू सोशल हाइजीन हाउ वी डेट इन दिस मॉडर्न 21st सेंचुरी एंड वी टॉक्ड अबाउट ऑल दीज थिंग्स सो बहुत ही फन कन्वर्सेशन थी एंड आई थिंक वी शुड जंप राइट इनसाइड द कन्वर्सेशन आई हैड विद सुरभि बग्गा ऑन सेकंड लास्ट सपर. Hi Surbhi, how are you? Thank you so much for joining us.
I'm great, Vaibhav. I'm doing good. It's a fine Sunday evening. What about you? How are you doing?
बस ऑल गुड. आप अभी दिल्ली में हो. आई थिंक आपने बॉम्बे छोड़ दिया मेरे जैसे. मैं भी बॉम्बे छोड़ के आ गया.
Oh my God. Had to, man. I mean, if half of your salary goes into your rent money, it's just,
Absolutely.
there's no other choice.
By the way, I'm a big fan of your podcast, and more than the podcast, I'm a fan of your podcast intro. I think it's very impressive. And जो intro है, I think it's probably the second best intro, at least India में. मतलब
Oh
वो
wow.
काफी
Which one's the best one?
It's my podcast. आपने शायद
Nice. Not a brag at all.
हाँ not a brag हाँ but yeah it's quite cool आप देखना but yeah like उसका म्यूजिक भी इतना अच्छा है you should like upload it separately वो मैं बार बार देखता रहता हूँ. You are entering the Overthink Tank. It's quite nice.
Thanks, man. I'll probably upload this on Spotify.
Yeah. So how has been the podcasting thing going on? ये आप हमेशा से करना चाहते थे या like over the last few years only you decided to do it? Did you have a thing for it पहले से? Tell us about this.
I think the first time I got into podcasts was when I didn't have any friends to hang out with. So I would just like turn on a podcast and like pretend that I have friends over. So that's how it all began. Also, when you like travel for long hours, I had a job in Bombay. So I would like take a train from Andheri till Lower Parel. And then when you take that same route every day of the month, you can't listen to music for an hour because it doesn't feel very productive as a as an activity. You're just like listening to the same music over and over again. So I thought, why not use it to listen to something that gives me some knowledge in some way. So that's how I got introduced to podcasts. And the good thing about podcasts is there is a podcast about everything on the surface of this planet. Okay, so I started with comedy podcasts. I wanted to learn more about comedy and stand-up writing, also dating. I really wanted to like know how the other people are dealing with the mess that is dating. So I started listening to a lot of podcasts, and that's how I started really enjoying the medium as it was. Because I don't know, there's something about listening to a podcast. It seems very intimate because like I think your knowledge directly seeps into your brain from your ear, because there's no like visual element to this. So I feel like it lasts in my brain for longer. And I thought, if this helps me so much, I bet like there's a lot of people who could listen to a podcast and feel better about their lives. Because literally each one of us is dealing with the same thing. So I always liked podcasts, and after that, I wanted to have my own. So I started my own podcast. I did a couple of episodes, and then I got a job at IVM, which is India's, I think, first ever podcasting company. And I was the producer there, and I produced 7 podcasts, and a couple of them won awards. And when I felt like I'd learned enough at that job, I left that job, but I continued making podcasts, and here I am. It's been 3 years since I've been making podcasts, and this is what I see myself doing. If you ask me the typical question of like, what do you see yourself doing in 5 years? I see myself making podcasts for myself and for other people. I see myself producing it. I see myself recording. I see hosting a lot of podcasts. So I really enjoy the medium that podcasting is.
This is so interesting. And you mentioned that you also do it to understand the comedy side of things, also the dating side of things. I have a question for you because I have been following your channel for a while now. आपने एक अपना dating का पूरा वो gig उस पे डाला था Zoom पे. At what moment did you tell the other guy, oh, by the way, I'll be recording this and I'll be uploading this on my channel?
Oh, you're going to out me like this on the internet. No, but good question. A lot of people thought that it was an inorganic date, but actually it was pretty organic. I just told the person, hey, would you come go out on a date with me on Zoom? So I think it was understood that I was going to record it. I didn't have to like explicitly tell the other person that, hey, I'm going on a date and I won't record it. Because I don't know, there was a little bit of understanding that I'm going to put this on my YouTube channel. So
Does he
point
know
that I
that
have
it's
to.
there on your YouTube?
Yeah, of course he knows. He's also like a YouTube person.
Okay.
But I didn't have to explicitly tell. You know, that's the thing with like people who work in the same industry. They
Exactly.
know that this is for content.
Content.
There is this is a date that's happening, but for content. But yeah, it was a pretty fun experiment. It felt pretty natural, even though I did this on Zoom and I recorded the whole conversation.
Yeah, but like there was so much effort put inside it. Like पीछे background same है and like I am quite liking your YouTube channel. मैं इतने ऐसे vlogs वगैरह follow नहीं करता, but I have been following yours. And I think you have been also
Thanks,
editing
man.
on your own self, like by your own self, like कुछ time. So how is that experience going on?
I struggle with it. I'm not like 100% good with editing, but I really like putting together like things and because like my thing with like editing is if it's on my phone, like if it's just like footage, I will not trust it at all. But like once I put it on my computer, I feel like I can do something with it. Like I don't know if you feel the same, but I feel like filming me is not as funny as editing me. Because when I
Yeah,
edit,
true,
I'm like hilarious. I'm just
true.
like God taking digs at myself. I am making the jokes that I couldn't think of when I was filming.
हाँ.
So I think it gives me like a sense of like I can control things and I can make it funnier. I can take it a notch up by just like adding a couple of elements to it.
आपका वो नार्कोस वाला देखा था मैंने where you had put on the like whole time
Yeah.
lapse of it. It was also quite nice. आपका भी personally, which is your own favorite video that you have put up on your channel?
I really enjoyed doing I deleted Instagram for 72 hours. I think it really helped me and I think I did justice to the video. And also my recent one where I'm trying to fix my sleep schedule. So this is something I had a lot of fun with. I don't know if you've seen it, but I tried like 3 different alarms to fix my sleep schedule. And the third one is my dad because my dad is the
Yeah,
original alarm clock. I had a lot of fun doing this and I'm glad my dad was okay doing all this green screen things.
आपके जितने पॉडकास्ट पे गेस्ट भी आए हैं एंड लाइक बिकॉज दैट इज समथिंग दैट मेरे को भी एक दो चीजें हैं जिससे लाइक जो मैं भी बहुत जिनमें इंटरेस्टेड हूँ लाइक सोशल मीडिया हाइजीन यू टॉक अ लॉट अबाउट इट लाइक यू हैव डन वीडियोस ऑन इट क्या क्या चीजें हैं जो आपने अभी तक क्रैक कर ली मैंने तो कल एक 2000 रुपए देके ऐप खरीदी है जिससे मेरा लाइक ये बेटर हो जाए आई बॉट दिस ऐप कॉल्ड फ्रीडम which
Okay.
will lock me out of MacBook and iPhone both जिस पे आप like वो लगा सकते हो so मैं सुबह उठता हूँ तो 8 से 10:30 उस पे मेरा एक होता है like I cannot open any app so basically there are free apps for it also but I wanted to pay for it just to feel
Oh my God, just to feel worse
yeah
about using social media. I haven't gone so extreme because it's hard for me to wake up and not like see Instagram. Like then how else do you wake up? You know,
oh shit yes
I have to see something. But you're right. So how is this Freedom app going for you?
It's
Have you?
quite nice. So मैं इससे पहले एक दो free apps use करता था, but when I was in Bombay, but Jaipur में, so I am in Jaipur currently, but they were not working here. I'm like, I think it's time to pay for it. I paid for a year, and it's very good. Like मैं पहले trial वगैरह try किए हुए थे, and I knew I needed something very extreme right now because it's bad right now it's bad I pay a lot of attention to like self improvement productivity वगैरह but if I am struggling तो भाई मेरे को ऐसा था कि भाई अब तो कर लो इस पे like जितने पैसे देने हैं लगे it's high time that I work on this
Man, hats off to you. I don't know. I keep going back to my same like spiral of like just checking Instagram for hours, but sometimes I just completely shun it. I think what's happened is my relationship with Instagram has changed. So now I feel like I am more in control of when I want to stop. Pehle, I was just like, okay, I'm on my Instagram, but I wouldn't know why I'm on my Instagram. I would just like go on my Reels section and keep scrolling. I've read a lot of articles about this whole like mechanism of how it works and how it makes you feel like every time you refresh there's a little award that you get so I know how it affects my brain like but that's the thing being self-aware is not enough right just
True.
knowing that this harms me is not enough but hopefully I will be better next year, or I should download this app you're talking about, man.
Yeah,
Freedom.
it's pretty solid. And इसके अलावा, what are the other addictions जो social media के, except for Instagram, the apps that you have struggled with?
Man, YouTube analytics is a new thing that nobody
Ah,
talks
oh
about.
shit. YouTube Studio I open 300 times a day.
I know, and there is no track record of that. Like YouTube doesn't tell you how many times you like refresh your
Yeah.
subscribe account, but yeah, a ton of times. That's
And
one.
you talked about the dating thing, and like उसमें जैसे have you tried all these apps, Hinge, Bumble, Tinder, all three of them? Do you have a favorite which worked the best for you?
Dude, I wouldn't say my favorite because I'm contractually obliged to not say what my favorite app is. I've used Hinge and Bumble and also Tinder. I won't say which of these apps is my favorite because I've currently
Which
worked with
worked
two of
for you
these
the most,
apps.
like by that,
Okay,
like,
I
yeah.
think Hinge has worked for me the most because I don't know.
Same.
First, same.
Yeah.
Yeah. How has it worked for you? Is it
I
good? Are
kind
the
of
results good in Jaipur? How is
नहीं
it like
जयपुर में like
opening
zero
Hinge in
zero
Jaipur?
Jaipur
Zero.
zero, like I am not even trying it here.
Hmm.
Hinge for me, like I cracked the algorithm for it basically, in the sense like you can also write answers na, so I was like, hey, I can prove that I am smart क्योंकि शक्ल के अलावा भी आप कुछ दिखा सकते हो, right? And I got into Hinge when it was not famous, तो
Hmm.
तब से मैं उस पे था. And like आई क्रैक द वो जो फर्स्ट ओपनिंग लाइन जो आइस ब्रेकिंग होता है ना, वो मैंने
Hmm.
उसका
Hmm.
क्रैक कर लिया था, विच वर्क क्वाइट नाइसली फॉर सम टाइम.
What
जैसे
was
यू
the opening line?
Okay, yeah.
You can
I
say it.
might edit this part because my parents also see it, but yeah. My trick is ki you should always Indianize things. People always talk about, oh, pineapple over pizza or not. No, my opener was dal chawal or kadi chawal. So let's say if the person says dal chawal, I say congratulations, you
Hmm.
have passed the test. Now we can
Hmm.
continue the conversation. If she says kadi
Curry
chawal,
shower.
I say the same thing. But
Oh my
there is
God.
there is a third answer also.
What
Rajma
is
chawal.
it?
And I say congratulations, you have passed
You've
the
cracked
test.
the test.
Yeah, we can continue the conversation. And it
This is a new kind of play, man. What is this? You should be a dating coach.
I am on autopilot on step one because that time I won't give like the premium shit to anyone because वो सबके लिए same है. Why invest energy in it? Because dal chawal and kadi chawal has worked quite nicely in terms of the matches I have got, and
Mhm.
it's genuine. I can't talk about pineapple over pizza because I'm not passionate about
Dude,
pineapple.
Hinge Pay, everybody is talking about, I don't know, the same thing. Where do you want to go next? Netherlands. What do you want to see next? Just like the same shit. Uh, it's kind of tiring after some point. Oh, and there's one, I think, popular answer that everybody says on Hinge. It's like, what are you most competitive about? And the answer is everything. I'm like, guys,
Seriously?
stop. Yeah, everybody just
Serious?
says everything. Like, this is not fun. You just say everything.
But like I just revealed everything about myself by saying that dal chawal line because I've never like told it
Hmm.
publicly. So you also have to give me one opener that you think is very smart क्योंकि आपने तो उसकी PDF बनाई हुई है, I know.
One opener, dude. I haven't cracked the algorithm of Hinge as you have, but my current Hinge profile is basically a red flag. All of the answers are like red flags, red flags, red flags. Because now I only talk about astrology on my Hinge.
Oh shit. मतलब in a
And
very conscious like intentional
yeah,
manner,
in
na?
a conscious, funny way, but it sometimes like doesn't get me the matches I want. But like I'm too lazy to change it up now. So it's just like, so what do you like to talk about? Astrology. And then I think another question is, when do you, something about like, again, I don't know, should I open my Hinge profile? I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
that will
you
help.
totally should, yeah.
Okay, my first question is, I won't shut up about astrology. That's my answer. And change my mind about how Taurus is in the worst of all zodiacs. That's my second answer. Can you believe it? Who would swipe right on this gal? My third question is, you will know I like you if I read your horoscope, but not if you're a Taurus. Yeah, that's basically my entire Hinge profile, and I only talk about astrology. But you know what it does? It filters out the people who hate astrology with a
Absolutely.
passion. Some like, I get like less matches, but they're like decent people who don't have like strong opinions about astrology.
Acha, are you
Yeah.
seriously into it? Like you believe in it? Kya kafi?
नहीं मतलब I'm not seriously into it, but I also hate people who are like, we hate astrology with a passion. You know, just be open to things. I like reading my horoscope every once in a while, man.
आप मेरे
That's
बारे
what
में
I
भी कुछ
stand.
बताओ ना. Like, can you guess मेरा क्या horoscope है?
Your zodiac. Wait, I can guess your zodiac if you could like answer a couple of questions for
हाँ
me.
जी.
Can you show me your hands? Okay. What is your favorite day of the week?
बचपन में Wednesday होता था, so I would say Wednesday.
Wednesday, okay. I get 3 guesses, okay? So don't tell me until I get the 3 wrong. Are you a Cancerian?
No.
Okay, I get one more guess, one more question. What do you think about sunsets?
I started noticing sunsets more since I came here. Bombay में time नहीं होता था. But yeah, and I love the movie before sunset. I don't know.
Oh, that's good information. Thank you. This will help me. Wait, so you're not a Cancerian. Sagittarius.
Nope.
Okay, last guess. Aries, dude, you're an Aries.
No, I am a Leo.
Oh my God, classic Leo. This is so classic Leo. Just want to prove everybody wrong.
इसमें मैंने क्या किया?
Fine, I'm wrong, but sometimes I'm able to guess.
And what's the worst thing about a Leo that like I should keep in mind? मेरे को किसी ने बताया था I should be very well like I should stay away from scorpions because scorpion is the only animal which can bite a lion. सब कुछ ऐसे में. And I have had bad experiences with scorpions.
With scorpions?
Yeah.
I mean,
like,
I think that's a coincidence. I mean, I don't really believe in all that. Oh, a Scorpio can bite a lion, so you should be scared of. You should be scared of all animals, okay?
Yeah.
Even a bull, which is a Taurus, can hurt you. And
are you a Taurus?
No, I am a Leo as well.
Oh, you are a Leo. Oh, nice.
Full length conversation about our zodiac signs. This podcast is going great.
तो एक सेगवे वापस हम पॉडकास्ट पे लेते हैं. व्हाट आर सम बैड इंटरव्यूइंग हैबिट्स जो आपने नोटिस किए लोगों की यार तुम ये मत किया करो?
This is a very good question because I have learned from other people's mistakes, which is nice because people who've done a podcast before you learn what not to do in your own podcast. I think one thing that I try not doing is if I have a question for a guest, I probably wouldn't answer it myself first because then I feel like I missed the authenticity of what the guest would have answered if I just pose them the question without giving them my opinion. So if I have a question, I don't try to answer it first, and I don't try to like make my thing be the first thing that comes to their head. Because sometimes I feel like if I have a question and I also have an answer to it that I immediately blurt out, that will kind of like make the guest not think harder, which is also my idea of my podcast, the Overthink Tank. Sometimes there are awkward pauses when I have a question, but I let that be. Like a lot of podcasters, they try to be funny at all times, which is not what I do in my podcast. I try to like give some kind of advice and I try to get thoda vulnerable. Like funny, I feel like happens when you're authentic, and funny happens when it comes out of your stories. So we don't have to try to be funny. I feel like that's some mistakes that I have also probably made in my earlier seasons where I was going for the joke. But now I only go for the story and I only go for like the feeling behind it. And I think it becomes funny on its own. Even if it's not funny, if it connects to like some people, because like a lot of my podcast topics are not supposed to be funny. Like I did one with Kusha.
It's so good. I really like that. मैं आपके सारे सिर्फ YouTube पे वीडियोस देखता था तो मेरे को लगता था वो 10-10 मिनट वाली पार्ट है जहाँ कुमार वरुण बता रहे हैं अरे मेरे को कोई बर्थडे विश नहीं करता, वो बता रहा है मेरे को WhatsApp यूज करना नहीं, मेरे को पता था it is on Spotify but I don't use Spotify. So मैंने देखा ओह 50-minute एपिसोड्स है ये. So मैंने फाइनली जाके कुशा कापिला वाला देखा. It's damn nice.
Thanks, man. I really enjoy like getting answers about like big things and big questions that we all think about, but nobody really asks these people, which is why I've done an episode with Kusha about like a topic like how to love yourself a little more. And I've last season did an episode with 2 therapists and they also host another podcast. And the topic of that episode was how to be a better friend to someone with depression. It was a nice topic, and even though it wasn't entirely funny, but it was an informative topic.
So आप comedians के अलावा भी बहुत लोगों को बुला रहे हो? Like
हाँ, especially
because
for
I haven't seen
conversations.
those
Yeah.
episodes, so that's why I'm asking. उनके अलावा आपने किन किन को बुलाया है?
If you are only on my YouTube, you won't get the gold of my podcast, which is mostly on podcasting apps and not just on Spotify. If you don't use Spotify, you could probably use Apple Podcasts. What is your more like podcasting platform that you use?
So okay, so this is a very disappointing answer because कोई ये नहीं करता जो मैं करता. Basically, I have YouTube Premium, so I use YouTube as the podcasting app, and मैं ना Apple Music use करता हूँ ना Spotify. I use YouTube Music, which everyone hates, but it works perfectly for me. So
No, I get it. Yeah.
yeah.
But you should probably download one of these apps, like
yeah,
Stitcher
Spotify है मेरे पास,
Overcast.
but
Spotify charges you for podcasts. Maybe like one of these podcasting platforms like Stitcher and Overcast. I think it's easier listening because you can download them and you can download like the whole season and just listen to them on a loop.
आपका नेक्स्ट लाइक ऐसे कौन एक गेस्ट है जिन्हें आप फ्यूचर में लाना चाहते हो विश लिस्ट में आउटसाइड ऑफ इंडिया या दिस इज वन पर्सन जो जिसको मेरे को लाना है
I would love to get Nikki Glazer on one of my podcast episodes if I could. That would be so fun because she's so open about her dating life and just about everything. And I feel like it would be easier to have a conversation with her because you can pose any question and she would have an answer. So I would love to get Nikki Glazer on my podcast. I also really enjoy Pete Holmes. He's also a comedian. Also has his own podcast called You Made It Weird. Really enjoyable. Oh, there's also another podcast that I recently started listening to. It's called Ologies, where like the host, her name is Ali Ward, and she basically like researches all the ologies that exist. Her recent episode is called Awesomology, where she talks about the science of happiness. It's a very nice conversation, basically. So I would love to get like my favorite podcasters in my podcast. That would be fun.
So, इसके अलावा, what I want to ask, who are your favorite content creators when it comes to India? 3 YouTubers and 3 Instagram creators.
Oh, big question. This is the clip that will make it to the Instagram, right? This is the clip. Okay. They're not Indian, but I have recently started following some Pakistani creators, but I feel like in like reality, we were once in all Indians, so I would count them as Indian content creators because several years ago, we were all Indians. So there was no such thing as Pakistan. One recent vlogger that I've come across, his name is Muru, and he makes amazing vlogs, and he makes like a very typical day look like such a beautiful day, like the way he edits. He also sings for his own vlogs. So every other vlog, you'll hear a new song that he's sung himself. Another vlogging duo, their names are AR and Yasir. They do a cooking chaos channel where they just cook, but it's all chaos. So that's the funny one. On YouTube, I also follow this gal called Julie Nolki. Again, she's not Indian, but amazing content. She makes a lot of fun sketches. Her recent sketch about talking to my past self in a pandemic went like insanely viral and has like a couple of million views. You should check that out. Nice. And I really like what she does on her channel.
Instagram.
My first favorite content creator is Vaibhav. Okay, let's see. I really like Rekha Jha. I feel like the writings that she does, and I feel like because she knows we're all like Instagram human beings, she is kind enough to put out her writings on Instagram in picture forms, and you can just read them and it doesn't feel like you're actually reading anything. So hats off to Rekha Jha for making us read things on Instagram. She writes amazingly. You should follow her newsletter. I really like Super Woman. Her name is Supriya, and she's a fun comic. She just like makes my day with her stories. I don't know. I just feel like having a good day for the sake of Supriya. I'm like, I have to have a good day. I saw some Supriya's story and it fills me with so much joy. Oh, I really enjoy Pranav Sapra. He puts out like jokes on the internet. And I've been following him since his Twitter days. So I feel like I'm a little partial, but I enjoy seeing his post on my profile. Priyansh Jha, that's what his name is. He makes jokes.
Interesting. तो हमें clippings मिल गई जो अब YouTube, Instagram पे जाएंगी. Now I want to know कि एक YouTuber है जो अब बहुत बड़े Spotify के podcaster बन गए हैं, जिन्होंने अभी $100 million की deal crack की. What's your opinion on Joe Rogan?
To be honest, I've only seen like tiny clips of Joe Rogan's podcast. I haven't been able to sit through the whole podcast. I bet it's interesting to some people.
But
You
you were
can
not
only,
able to sit through it. तो क्या work
yeah,
नहीं किया आपके लिए?
because honestly, you can only hear about DMT for, only so long. After a while, I'm like, okay, enough with the DMT and the drugs. Okay, Joe Rogan. I bet it goes for some people, but the thing is, for Joe Rogan's podcast, I only listen to it when the guest he's interviewing is someone I like.
Yes.
So when he interviewed Nikki Glazer, I watched the whole thing. It felt like a breeze. But apart from that, he's just sitting around and talking about DMT or like some weird diet he's on. I'm like, no, thank you. What do you think about Joe Rogan? What do you have opinion?
Joe Rogan का again मैं भी इतने मतलब उसका podcast पूरे कंज्यूम नहीं कर पाता, but if the guest is interesting, like there is just one episode with Naval Ravikant. Naval Ravikant के साथ जो episode है, it's probably the best content out there in any format. वो 1.5 घंटा मतलब मेरी लाइफ का आई थिंक चौथा पड़ाव था. फर्स्ट वाज डिस्कवरिंग रिचर्ड लिंकलेटर, सेकंड वाज ऐसे रे ब्रैडबरी करके ऑथर है. बिकॉज पहले ना मैं बहुत इंडी होता था पैसे नहीं कमाने, आर्ट. व्हेन आई लिसन टू नवल आई अंडरस्टूड, मतलब वो सब करने के लिए फर्स्ट यू नीड टू अर्न मनी एंड आई वाज लाइक ओह अच्छा पैसे कमाने होते हैं. वो सुन के मेरे को लगा, बिकॉज मेरे को सब हमेशा से कहते थे पैसे कमाना जरूरी है, बट आई वाज लाइक नहीं, आई विल बी इंडी, मैं नीश के लिए बनाऊंगा, आर्टिस्ट रहूंगा. बट व्हेन आई heard Naval put it out so logically, I was like holy shit. And उसकी spirituality and capitalism दोनों के concepts बहुत clear है. So पैसे कमा के आप sane कैसे रह सकते हो? Quite amazing. So I think
sounds pretty interesting because that's the kind of struggle upcoming artists face. They're like, should I just do it for art's sake? Should I make art for art's sake, or should I actually try to make money out of it? And a lot of people who don't give a shit about these two things, they are the ones who like end up like becoming big, but we're just stuck in the loop of like, am I selling myself out or am I not? But I guess there's a balance that you need in both of these things. And if a brand wants to change, just do it.
Absolutely. जो नवल कहता है वो आप जो कर रहे हो, I think वही है. जैसे आप अपने brands बना रहे हो, you have a YouTube channel by Surbhi Bagga, you have Overthink podcast. So he's like, create your own brands that you own. और ऐसे अगर आपके 10 brands भी होंगे ना खुद के, that is the way to like earn success. तो multiple brands होने चाहिए basically. So this is one of the things, and taking a risk by selling your own name. जैसे कि ओपरा का है, ट्रम्प का है. Your YouTube channel is also by your own name. So when you put out your own name and take a risk like that, मतलब आप देखना, I think it will, मतलब मैं पूरा recommendation वाले ही channel run करता हूँ. So this is one recommendation that I'll give to you.
I will take this recommendation and I will watch the whole thing.
One of the reasons I was so excited about this was because there is so many intersection points जहाँ पे आप जिन चीजों की बातें करते हो जिनमें मैं interested हूँ. Like जो अभी generation social media जैसे use कर रही है, dating. Now, what do you think of flakiness? How do you deal with flakiness? Are you a flaky person? Or if someone flakes on you, how do you deal with it?
Okay, first of all, I'll talk about me first. Because you asked if I'm a flaky person. I don't think I'm a flaky person, but another side of not being a flaky person is that I do not commit to plans. So if I don't commit to plans, I don't have to say no to them, which means I can still look that person in the eye and be like, at least I didn't cancel on you last minute. I just didn't say yes to the whole plan in the first place. So I think it's both bad. But yeah, flakiness has become a thing. I don't know. It's hard when it happens to you, like when you are the one on the receiving end of things. But if you are being flaky and it's a genuine reason, then I guess it's not as big a thing. I don't know. Most of the times, it's been like a logical reasoning that hey, I can't make it because of this, and it's pretty okay. Because honestly, when it comes to like canceling plans, I'm looking forward to someone else doing it, So I'm good if someone else cancels. Most of the time, it's especially in the last 1 year, I feel like this last 8 months, I have no will of stepping outside. So if someone else cancels, I'm like, thank you.
मैं तो बहुत offend हो जाता हूँ. Please tell me how to ये Zen mode में कैसे आते हैं. मतलब teach me this, like क्योंकि if someone cancels on me, मैं तो even if I don't say anything,
I think the trick is to not wear a blazer to that thing. If you just don't dress up and don't put any effort in how you look, then it's like, well, thank you. At least I didn't put any pressure. Like any time into this.
फिर fun क्या है जीवन जीने में? मतलब अगर if I don't do these blazer things, if I'm like हाँ मतलब like winging it यहाँ से वहाँ गए, then what's the point of जीवन?
Yeah, man, I feel like you can't fix other people's time issues because a lot of my friends genuinely had like an issue with leaving for things that are on a dedicated time. So I would just give them an earlier time. You can just play with their minds and be like, be there by 5:30 when you actually need them to be there by 7:30. So just confuse them. I think that's something you could do because it's hard to change people's like wiring. Some people just don't leave the house when they're asked to leave. They're their own bosses. They're not exactly bad people, they're just flaky. That doesn't make them bad, even though it seems like the worst thing when it happens to you. But it's just a thing that they have. They don't value other people's time as much as they do their own.
तो एक और मेरे को मैं आप थेरेपी सेशन ले रहा हूँ फ्री का लाइक मेरे को एक और चीज में हेल्प कीजिए मैम आई ऑल्सो सक एट this thing when someone like fucks up, so I don't know if I can use that, but then I expect an apology, and if the apology is not genuine, I don't like it. I need genuine apologies because insincere apologies also affect me a lot कि भाई या तो बोलो ही मत, आप insincerely क्यों बोल रहे हो, because a sincere apology reflects from head to toe, दिखता है. Insincere apologies are like a big pet peeve. So how do I deal with it? Or is it something that needs to be dealt with?
If I could quote a Taylor Swift song right now, if you text me an insincere apology, I would delete it. But if you send me a good apology, I will text you back. I think it's Miley Cyrus and not Taylor Swift, but I get it. I get what you mean. I've been watching a lot of like YouTube apology videos, the typical videos of people sitting in front of a camera and just saying and just reading things out. I think the question you're asking is how to differentiate between a good apology and a bad apology, or how do you apologize and mean it?
How do I deal as a like person who is on the receiving end? कोई apologize करता है और आपको feel हो गया कि भाई इसने ढंग से नहीं किया, without getting affected, without like bashing on the other person, how do you still say it's okay? Because it's not.
You're right. Don't say it's okay until you feel like it's okay. Because a lot of times when people apologize, they feel like things will be great, and you will reply back with a simple, "Oh, it's okay. I wish nothing but the best for you." But honestly, if you're not at that place to forgive someone, it's okay to hold on to a grudge for a little longer.
I'm going to quote you on that. Like ये starting में लिखा हुआ है, quote unquote, and then the video will start.
No, honestly, because this is something I worked like in therapy also. And if I don't feel ready to forgive someone, it's not like it's something that affects me. It's not like every day I wake up, I'm like, oh, where's my apology? But I'm like, you know what? If you ask me if I am at that point of like forgiveness, I'm not really there. So why, like, if I don't really feel like I'm over this whole thing, I'm not going to message you and be like, hey, I'm over this whole thing. So it's okay. I have that grudge against you. I don't like wake up and think about it every day, but I haven't completely forgiven you for that. But you do you. Because sometimes a lot of people who apologize, they just want to like get over their own guilt of like doing that thing to you. So they just say sorry, but it doesn't help you in your case. So just be like, I'm still mad at you and I will forever be until I die.
That's something. Because let's say, जैसे मैं आपको एक story बताता हूँ, someone ghosted me last December and I got a message back from that person a week back, and it's a hi, hey, and I just also wrote a hey, like I hey back the person, and then as a 5 message exchange with, and I was like, you disappeared from my life, now you're back and you're talking like a hi, hey, again there is no apology. so like I wasn't even asking for it, but like kya karte hain aisi situations mein?
I mean, I would address the fact that, hey, hello, you were away for a while, so I'm not like, just something that you can walk in and then leave. This is not a resort, my friend. This is a person's heart.
यहाँ मेरे को ऐसा लगता है like मेरा थोड़ा एक Leo trait आ जाता है यहाँ पे, like कि indifference is the best revenge. So I am kind of like indifferent towards it. Now it's actually not affecting me, which is a very cool thing. So it did not bother me. She did not apologize properly. वो message कर रही है. So I have become indifferent towards it. So इसलिए मैंने आगे से कुछ बोला भी नहीं, because I know मैं उस loop में फंस जाऊंगा, and then it will be like कि I'm not able to like get the responses I want to. It's like, let's just be indifferent.
Yeah, also it's a classic Leo trait is that we want the perfect apology. We
Oh,
don't just
dude.
want an
You just
apology. We want you to
you
say the
just
right
said
things.
आपने वो बोल दिया जो मैं बहुत देर से बोलने की कोशिश कर रहा था.
Yeah.
It has to be the way I expect it to be.
Yeah.
Like,
Even a sorry won't do. A sorry, a miss you won't do. I think it has to be sorry I did this, and sorry like exactly spell out what you did wrong and send it to me in writing and sign it on a stamp paper. Yeah, that's what we want, like a grand apology, and that's the only thing that will suffice a Leo's
but
ego.
बट दैट इज द जो आपका आई थिंक ओल्ड सेल्फ है. आई थिंक वो अभी
Hmm.
वाला जो आपका न्यू सेल्फ है जो काफी जेन सेल्फ लग रहा है मेरे को, उसमें मेरे को नहीं लगता कि आप ऐसा अपॉलॉजी एक्सपेक्ट करते हो. व्हाट्स योर करंट हेड स्पेस राइट नाउ? सॉरी, आई
Oh,
शुड हैव स्टार्टेड विद दिस क्वेश्चन बट आई एम आस्किंग इट 40 minutes later.
how am I doing currently, mentally speaking? I'm doing okay. I am doing better than what I was doing. I think last up until last month. I mean, things are fine. I do have like my own ups and downs, and I'm glad that I can afford therapy. So I do regularly go to my therapist. I'm trying to like rewire my brain into not thinking so many of my negative thoughts. And I'm generally in a good space right now. Like considering all things, I feel like I'm in a good space. Yeah, for a while, because I think again it's a very new feeling since I've let go of like a couple of toxic people from my life. I'm like Surbhi 2.0, and I do feel like I'm more in charge of what I want, and I'm more open to like I don't accept like blurry boundaries anymore. I'm not like okay, ye bhi chalega, wo bhi chalega. I need like a clear cut answer of like, hey man, are you in or are you not? So this is
क्या
something
ये
new
भी
that I
लियो
found.
ट्रेट है?
I don't know. I think it's just someone who's in therapy for 1 year trained. Just my therapist has wired me to not taking shit, and like she's wired me to like understand what I deserve. And I'm glad that I did that. I'm glad that I reached out for help, and I really needed it.
This is so nice. I have a question about therapy क्योंकि मैंने जितना पढ़ा है मेरे को एक चीज समझ आई है. A good therapist should never give an answer. Is it true? They should get the answer from you. ये एक रूल होता है ना.
Yeah.
मेरे को किसी ने कहा था अगर तू कुछ बोले कि यार मेरी ये प्रॉब्लम है और अगर तेरे को थेरेपिस्ट तेरा आंसर दे रहा है, it means that is not a good therapist. Is it true?
I think different approaches work for different people because I've been to I think I've changed like 4 therapists, and like my current therapist has been really good. And so speaking in that terms, she doesn't like if I ask her a question, she doesn't like answer it for me unless it's a medical question and like I wouldn't know the answer. So if I ask her, hey, why am I feeling this way? Like, oh, this happened and I reacted this way. Why do you think I did this? Then she will pose the question back to me, but in a different phrasing. So she makes me look for the answers in my
Yes.
own thing, which is why people say therapy is a lot of work. And like, it's not just like you getting on a Zoom call. It's not just like you walking in and talking to a friend for an hour. It's very different. You have to really be introspective. Sometimes you end up having like therapy sessions that make you like, they're super draining. You cry for an hour and then you come out and your whole day is kind of like foggy because you've just cried for an hour.
Wow.
So it is a lot of work indeed.
One of the last few questions. Is it okay to use friends as therapists?
No, I mean, your friends can help you, but they can't be like 100% like a certified therapist. They're not
No,
doctors.
but using them, मेरे को पता है कि यार मेरे को एक rant करनी है. I just need someone on the other end of the call. और वो लंबी rant होगी, so I don't tell them this and कर सकते हैं.
Something that I've learned over the years is that if I have a big rant coming up, then I'll probably give them a heads up. I'll be like, hey, I have
that's
to
much
rant.
polite. Yeah.
Do you have like 45 minutes to listen to me rant?
Nice.
And because sometimes it's also like you don't know what kind of space the other person is in. So
Absolutely.
I have like a couple of friends. You can't like put all the pressure on one friend. So I asked 3 friends, hey, are you down to listen to me rant for 45 minutes? And will this burden you? Do you also have a lot going on? Because then I'll ask another friend. So just give them a heads up, man. I think friends are okay. You can use them as pseudo therapists, but again, they can't be your actual therapist.
ये भी काफी कोटेबल लाइन है. This is nice. I'm liking this. एक लास्ट मेरे को आप बताइए, what are you watching currently? आप अभी क्या देख रहे हो?
I just finished watching this masterpiece of a show called The Fabulous Lives of Bollywood Wives. It's a fun show. I mean, to hate watch. So I hate watch that whole thing. What else am I watching? Something good. I should give you a good answer.
ये भी clipping जाएगी क्योंकि.
Oh my God. All these clippings, I tell you. Can I tell you all the shows I've enjoyed? Because I'm watching,
like, I think
I'm
that would
watching
be
a lot of
better.
crap right now.
Okay, so like give us a few recommendations of the TV shows, of the movies that you enjoyed from the last few years.
Two movies I really enjoyed. One of them is called 21st Century Women, and Greta Gerwig is in it. And so I think that was the one reason that I Googled it. So great, great watch. You should watch it if you haven't yet. And another show that I really like is Succession. It's on Hotstar. It's a great show. It's so weird because you keep on rooting for different people at different points. There's never one hero in that show. You know, you're always like, oh, okay, I'm on this person's side now. Oh, okay, I'm on this person's side now. It's a wild journey. Succession is a good show. I don't really enjoy sci-fi as such, but I do want to get into sci-fi like Mandalorian and all those shows that you guys keep watching and talking about. My all-time favorite has to be Gilmore Girls. I think Gilmore Girls really helped me when I was in quarantine. I was lonely as hell, so I was just watching Gilmore Girls. It's my comfort show, and it helped me sleep in the night because it's nice to hear like familiar sounds, especially when you're alone. It like which is why I rewatch a lot of these my favorite movies because they feel comfortable and I don't have to like watch the whole thing. I can just listen to them like a podcast.
Yeah. This is so nice. Thank you so much, Surbhi. Like, बहुत सारी quotable quotes मिले मेरे को इस conversation से.
Thanks, Vaibhav.
Also, like, मैंने भी थोड़ा सा मेरा vulnerability दिखाई, थोड़ा pseudo सी दाल चावल कड़ी चावल वाली, but it helped me to get a lot of things.
Yeah, you should put that out. Don't worry about your parents seeing it. I bet parents don't see your entire podcast. Just like we don't listen to Joe Rogan's full podcast.
Nice. So thank you so much, and this was a lot of fun. And Jadada, if you can ask our subscribers to subscribe to Second Last Supper.
Hey guys, if you enjoyed this video, you can like, share, and subscribe to the Second Last Supper's channel and to Vaibhav and his blazer.